think we should be good now. Pardon me. Saw something I wanted to kind of correct, so I thought let me jump off and jump back on, just in case. As you can see, I was just on for about 10 minutes. And I was like, you know what, let me do this again. But again, never too late. Greetings. Hope everyone's doing well. A pleasure to share these words. Speaking of words, let me get back to it. This is the quote I have today. And as I said, it's something I wanted to, I used to do this before where I would recite it 2 times. Just to give people a chance to, absorb, digest. Something I've been pondering about, so I thought, you know what, now is a good time to, get back into things, one could say. In any case, this is what I have for you for today. Got to take time to grow, but sometimes growth so slow. Feeling like winter in the North Pole as the path turns small. Wishing with a smidgen of the thing they call hope. It tethers my plight, so I'm crawling from the dark with a better sight. Never deemed to be right, just to tell it like it is. Thus, when the words hit, I can take it as the real. Writing was the answer, like my last meal. As the mental spill, the time soothes the bones, like my glass fill. But, as I was saying before, hope everyone's doing well, getting on, enjoying yourself, your Sunday, your weekend, etc. It's good to by the way, happy Father's Day to all the men out there. It's always positive, to reach another milestone pertaining to fatherhood. I think that's something that should be celebrated, like a lot of other things, of course. So yes. I'll do it again. I'll recite this piece once more, and then we get into this thing. I'll break down what I have to say. Just give me a second. Got to take time to grow, but sometimes growth so slow. Feeling like winter in the North Pole as the path turns small. Wishing with a smidgen of the thing they call hope. It tethers my plight, so I'm crawling from the dark with a better sight. Never deemed to be right, just to tell it like it is. Thus, when the words hit, I can take it as the real. Writing was the answer, like my last meal. As the mental spill, the time soothes the bones, like my glass filled. And I've been waiting to do this. I've been waiting to do this, and a bit of that. It's just, never mind me. I didn't need to do that. But yeah. So where am I going with this? Let me. Questions, right? The first thing I really wanted to ask is, and perhaps stick a pin in this question. We're going to break it down. Do you love more than you hate? That is the question. That is the question. Do you love more than you hate? And it could be somewhat a creeping concept. As we know, there's fine lines when it comes to love and hate, and it's so easy to get somewhat subscribe to one as well as the other, or yeah, because that works both ways. That's somewhat of a pendulum. If you're somebody, but of course, it's such a tricky concept because, like I've found with poetry at the beginning, nobody likes to look at themselves in the mirror, and in my experience, that's pretty much what you're doing when as a poet. That's where you're coming from. So it's interesting, and this is what's inspiring about this. There are people in this world that lack capacity to appreciate. I would argue, But in any case, whether that's true or not, even in small doses, right, population-wise, are you such a person? Would you class yourself as such a person? Me personally, I've over the years, just looking outside in, I see it as a duty to appreciate, to love, to see the positives, more than the opposing factor. And if only for one simple reason. Let's put it like this: what would you want for yourself? What would you want for yourself? If you were to imagine somebody, doing for you behind your back, would you, or speaking about you behind your back, would you want that to be something positive or negative? It's one of those things. In any case, these are all food for thought. You simply fall on the other side. Do you fall on the other side? Now this is very somewhat sensitive. On the other side, meaning, are you the party that simply just hate, and you love it, you appreciate that thing about life, are you brazen with it? I guess that's where I'm going with it. Certain people, they would do it, but it's undercover. Are you brazen with it? Are you out there with it? I think that's somewhat of a separating factor if you're that type of person. What happens when love doesn't find a way in your relations? Now, the reason why I say relations, I wanted to somewhat make it general as possible. So, just dynamically speaking, pertaining to interactions, whether it's your family, whether it's your lover, whether it's your dog, just a general out there type of perspective on what happens when that affection or the general term that people like to subscribe to is love doesn't find a way in your relationship, do you feel the need to be destructive? Do you want to, absolutely cause havoc and, destroy somebody? Are you the type of person to be like, if I can't have it, have him, have her, nobody else can, nobody else should? Are you that type of person? That is, quite a destructive ideal. So I'm very curious, and I'm sure listening to this,
it's 20 hours.
So is my laptop. And sure, listening to this, you're perhaps somewhat quite curious yourself. Question: do you feel the need to find a scapegoat? Do you feel the need to find a scapegoat for your situation? Or on the other side of things, do you feel, are you accountable for the pieces moved either by your energy or actions? I think that's I thought this was something interesting to speak about. Truth be told, I thought this was something interesting to speak about. The reason being is because, as we all know, accountability to a lot of individuals in this world is like kryptonite. So it just had me thinking and just being so curious, what my audience, how they would perhaps feel, react to such a question. Now, just questions, just words. And I think the reason why I like to, put things like this out there, even if I'm by myself, I think it's important for us to somewhat ask and be curious about oneself because how else are you going to grow, be better, do better, be in this space that you remember last year I was never even close, or I was definitely not here, So the accountability for pieces moved, and this is somewhat of a tricky one. Energy or actions, because sometimes it's not necessarily what you do, or should I say, it's not necessarily the outright actions. It's feelings are somewhat contagious, because people can sense. People are very intuitive when it comes to expressions, even if it's just body language that you're not privy to awareness of what you're causing, what you're doing. So, I'm curious about that question. and what people would have to say. Me myself, I'm big on awareness. I'm also, I think, self-growth, especially for self-growth, awareness and accountability is so important, to be better than, let's say, better than last year, better than yesterday. Now, I'm not saying this is, it's somewhat wishful thinking in the saying of it, the speaking of it, because, it's not as easy to just be better or, take accountability. Not at first, or not to begin with. And even if you are, it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time. So, realistically speaking, even though I'm throwing it out there, I am somewhat realistic with expectations. Even if I'm, especially when I'm speaking about myself. So, this is nothing judgmental in a way or anything of that sort. But like I said, just curious. So that's the essence. But to follow that, what does your body language say about you? Now, we all know as human beings, body language is a large majority of how we express ourselves. So your energy, the cues, the physical cues, the body language cues, what do they say about you? Are you aware? Are you curious? Do you even want to know? Very curious. And I suppose, as I said, sometimes I can be critical, but these are some of the things with awareness you start to think about. If not for other people, maybe for yourself. So I'm curious. I'm very curious. Do you engage with the world in a way you would like the world to engage with you? I think that's a big question. For myself especially, absolutely. And like I mentioned before, just the awareness or the need to remain cognizant of your situation and what it means and what is going on, etc. I think is paramount, to perhaps receiving what with what you seek, what you're looking, and perhaps reciprocating the same thing for somebody else, or creating that balance within the universe, in a sense where you create the type of environment you want for yourself. How do you engage with the world around you? Does morality comes easy? Does morality comes easy? Now that's something, it's maybe it could potentially be hard to be objective about, because at the end of the day, we're only human beings. And, you know, morality somewhat, I think in certain instances, it can be somewhat like a pendulum. It swings, you know. When situation is somewhat dire or extremely hard to do the right thing, are you the type to still do it anyway? You know, this is where I think things get complex or somewhat complicated. You know, but these are the questions. These are the questions I'm curious about. You know, morality. How aware are you? You know? Just me and my thoughts, as they say. Just me and my thoughts. But, you know, I was very curious about that one. So I'm gonna put the bow tie on things now. So with everything being said, let's go back to the first questions. Let's go back to the very first question. Do you love more than you hate? Do you love more than you hate? Do you love more than you hate? You know? That's for you to decipher. I'm just here to facilitate somewhat, especially today. In my opinion, for me personally, I appreciate more, and I think it's a duty to, because as humans especially, that's what we would want from somebody else for ourselves, reciprocating back and forth, you know. So questions, just words, you know, feed for thought, you know. But as always, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for listening to what I have to say. I appreciate everyone's support, and it's been positive. It's been great. Can't complain at all. So until next time, as you know, Poetry Event out soon. The technical release date is 27th of July, so it's technically next month. Book launch on the 10th of August, the Dalston Lounge. Looking forward to everything. Real positive about things, so you know, and so consequently, because of, you know, where I am in mind, it puts me in a place where, you know, I can ask these questions, and perhaps somebody out there appreciate me shedding light, because I, in my opinion, my humble opinion, we all want to be better. What better place to start than questions like these, you know? But that's neither here nor there. I appreciate everyone for chiming in. But yes, again, until next time, take care.